He may have been on the quiet side, but this legendary painter led an incredible life. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 facts about Bob Ross.
People continually say, I can't draw a straight line. I don't have the talent, Bob, to do what you're doing. That's baloney.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we'll be looking at our favorite facts and anecdotes about TV painter Bob Ross, whose mellow attitude and love of happy little trees turned him into one of the most beloved personalities on TV.
What would be the first thing you would say to somebody?
Probably just a little landscape, because nobody knows if a tree's incorrect. If you put 3 eyes on there, either you're Picasso or something's wrong.
Number 10. He's an internet sensation. Some younger viewers may have been scratching their heads after seeing Deadpool sporting an afro wig in the first teaser for his second movie. So let's take this opportunity to explain.
Whack that off real good. Just beat it like it owes you money.
Bob Ross was the host of The Joy of Painting, a PBS series where he taught viewers the joy of his art form with a now legendary mellow attitude and easy charm.
There. And maybe some little water lines right here.
In the years since Ross's death, he's become a bona fide internet phenomenon, with a Twitch stream of the show's entire run garnering millions of views in 2015. His show has also had huge success on Netflix, which helped reintroduce him to a new generation.
And that'll just be our little secret. And if you tell anyone that that bush is there, I will come to your house and I will cut you.
Number 9. He was inspired by another TV painter. While he was certainly a trailblazer, Ross was actually inspired by a TV painting personality who came before him, German painter Bill Alexander.
Isn't that fantastic, being on that beautiful sand beach? So let me show you how we would put that on this canvas.
Before Ross rose to TV stardom, Alexander was hosting The Magic of Oil Painting, a PBS show with a very similar style to the series Ross would later create.
See how nice it looks already?
Ross was first exposed to Alexander and his style of painting and presentation when he was working as a bartender in Alaska. Ross later adopted much of Alexander's style when he started his own series, while also adding in his own unique persona to the mix.
Beach scene is finished. You like it? I thank you for watching me.
Number 8. He popularized a painting style called wet on wet. One of the great things about watching painters like Ross and Alexander in action is how you can watch an entire painting be created, from the first brushstroke to the last, in just one sitting. Normally, a painting with oil-based paint requires time and careful layering, but Ross and his teacher used a different method, one known alternately as alla prima, or wet on wet.
Now this is a wet on wet technique, so the first thing we're going to do is get the canvas wet.
This technique involves painting over a wet layer of white paint applied to the canvas in advance.
That assures that the magic white's nice and even all the way across the canvas.
The technique requires speed and discipline to get right, but its ability to yield complete paintings in a short span of time is exactly what drew Ross to the style.
And we'll just sign that rascal.
Number 7. He almost never painted people. Watching his show, Ross seems like one of the friendliest and most sociable people you could ever hope to meet. But his paintings can tell a different story. Ross's paintings almost never showed any sign of human activity, and he avoided human figures entirely. An analysis done of the paintings Ross created on The Joy of Painting revealed that only 22% of the finished works included man-made structures, almost always small cabins.
Maybe there's a couple of windows over here. There's one. There's one. Looks like 2 big eyes looking at you.
Another interesting detail is that these cabins rarely had chimneys, which further minimizes the presence of human activity in Ross's paintings.
Let's put a door right there. That easy.
As friendly as he was, Ross much preferred nature to people. Number 6. He loved animals. Another piece of evidence that Ross loved the natural world was his devotion to animals.
And they're just little babies, only a few days old. Boy, look at that. They are hungry too.
Ross was a lifelong animal lover, rescuing injured or displaced woodland creatures as a child and helping to nurse them back to health.
So ever since I showed him on the program, I just thought I'd show him one more time. He is the cutest little devil, and he lives with me and we have a good time together. Hi.
He continued to raise animals as an adult, and a number of them made special appearances on his series, either joining Ross in the studio or appearing via pre-recorded footage. While they were all pretty adorable, Our favorite is definitely Peapod the pocket squirrel, a baby squirrel who would hang out in Ross's shirt pocket.
We call him Peapod the pocket squirrel because he would live in your pocket forever.
Peapod made numerous appearances on the show and quickly became an audience favorite. Number 5. He was missing a finger on one hand. One small detail that many viewers missed was that Ross was missing part of one of the fingers on his left hand, specifically the tip of his left index finger, which was lost during Ross's childhood when he was using a table saw with his father.
And after he goes to sleep, you can literally just pick him up. Look at that. Looks like he's at the beach, doesn't he?
It's a very easy detail to miss, especially since the missing digit was often obscured by the paint palette that Ross would hold in his left hand. However, it is possible to spot the missing digit in a couple of episodes, depending on the camera angle. Number 4. He would film a whole season in just 2 days. You'd think that producing a television show takes a whole lot of work, but Ross spent a surprisingly short amount of time on his TV series.
Hello, I'm Bob Ross, and I'd like to welcome you to Series 31 of The Joy of Painting.
Rather than film a season of The Joy of Painting over the course of a year, Ross would instead film the whole 13-episode season in just a couple of days. Over the course of a weekend, he'd film each episode in his studio by banging out one painting after another.
Just drop them in. Drop them in. Don't kill all the dark. I know sometimes it gets feeling good.
It's hard to judge just how many paintings Ross produced, especially since he would often create multiples of a given work, but he once estimated that it was around 30,000.
Go into a little paint thinner. Let's get a little sap green.
Number 3. His hair wasn't really curly, and he hated his iconic perm hairdo. Ross's afro haircut has become an indelible part of his legacy and image, as recognizable as his blue work shirts and friendly smile. But Ross wasn't the biggest fan of his do, which he adopted as a cost-cutting measure. Before that, Ross's hair was straight. In order to save money on haircuts, Ross had his hair permed, leading to the iconic fro. But when his business took off, this wasn't as much of a concern. But the look had become so linked with his brand and image that it made more sense to keep the perm, even though Ross had grown to dislike his legendary locks over the years. Number 2. He was an Air Force drill sergeant, with a reputation for yelling. It's almost impossible to imagine the legendarily mellow painter raising his voice or acting in an angry or abrasive manner. But before his career as a painter took off, Ross made a living as an Air Force drill sergeant. Ross described his time in the Air Force as requiring him to be mean all the time, a demeanor he was more than happy to leave behind after he discovered painting while stationed in Alaska.
I spent half my life in the military, and I used to come home, take off my little soldier hat, put on my painter's hat.
However, his time spent in Alaska wasn't all bad, as the state's sublime landscapes often served as inspirations for his work on the show. Before we unveil our top pick, here are some honorable mentions.
And there's really no limit to what color. Any color will work as long as you use the basic method.
Put some more little bushes right in here, like so. And we'll drop some reflections into the water.
Number 1. He never made any money from his show. You might think that The Joy of Painting had Ross laughing all the way to the happy little bank, but you'd be wrong. Over his lifetime, Ross never made a penny from his PBS series, and that's just how he liked it.
And that might truly be the joy of painting, is the friends that you make doing it.
As we mentioned before, the show took up very little of Ross's time, and his main source of income was his painting supply business and art classes, which the TV series helped to promote. The only time that his show generated any kind of money was when he donated his paintings to charity, or when PBS would auction them off during fundraisers.
Most of these paintings are donated to PBS stations across the country. They auction them off and they make a happy buck with them.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo and subscribe for new videos every day.